Hello. I hope that you guys have had a great holiday so far. I'm excited for the next holiday that is coming up soon. Great part of the holiday season, and the holiday after that is New Year's. Wow, I never realized how many were in a row. I wonder why we didn't spread that out more. I'll have to talk to the holiday associations about that one. Sorry, super big tangent. If I had another person with me in this podcast, which I probably will at some point, I'm pretty sure our topics would be have so many tangents, because I can go on a rant about something for a long time, which can be beautiful. But yeah. So I wanted to talk today, kind of an extension off of my last podcast. Which is funny because it took me a while to upload that because I had a really hard time with my internet, and I thought I had uploaded it for like a week. I thought it was uploaded, and it wasn't, because the internet didn't allow the MP3 file to upload on the website that I published the podcast from. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought this whole thing had been out for like a week and it hadn't been there. So I probably talk about like up Thanksgiving and stuff in it, even though Thanksgiving, when I published it, Thanksgiving had already happened because I published it today, but it's fine. Anyway, this is like a little bit of an extension off of that episode. I think the holiday season and being with family after not being with family for a little bit, for a lot of us, don't get to be with that much family that a lot of the time, especially those in the military. There's a lot of interesting things that can happen, and I just learned a lot. And so it's kind of part of this podcast for me, is partially to reflect on my own things, and understand how to be better. And then another part of it is to advocate for and sort of show humility for these things that I kind of think a lot of people can connect on, and hopefully it helps other people maybe make better decisions or just find tools to cope and to be more present with people, all those different things. I mean, that's what Raw Honey is all about. So yes, okay, so basically what happened this holiday that really kind of forced me to reflect about things was so I was in a big family gathering. We were all being safe, don't worry, COVID stuff. And I just kind of had a really hard time connecting with everyone. And I was feeling pretty sad. And I was also having to teleworking a lot too at the beginning. So I was pretty tired at that point. And then I also started feeling really sad because my partner was not able to be with me this holiday, and my whole family on that side hasn't had the chance to meet him. So I think I was subconsciously feeling pretty sad about that, because both of us being in the military, I don't know, I can't promise that we even be together next holiday, and it's just kind of like, it's a learning curve. This is the first year of us dating, and it's the first holiday I haven't spent with him, or that we've had together at all, but to not have it with him when we are very, very close. And it's hard. And it's even harder to be around family where a lot of people have their significant other with them, and they are, everyone's meeting each other, and it's this beautiful time, and I kind of felt like I was like weirdly on the outside of that, and it was really hard because I think in the back of my head I was really excited for him to be at the holidays, and I had thought about that for a while because I knew so many people in my family. I knew that he was going to fit into my family so well, and I was just so excited to see it, and it didn't happen that way. And so I kind of felt like I'd forgotten that, and I didn't anticipate that I was going to feel that sad about it, because I haven't been journaling as much as I need to, And I just kind of got swept up in what I was doing and did not realize I was going to be that sad. So I ended up pretty sad, and because I really hadn't reflected that much, I didn't really open up on how I was feeling to people and my family around me, and I kind of just retreated because I wasn't feeling like people understood what I was going through or like they were able to support me, and I just was like, nope, I need to just retreat and I need to take care of myself. I need to just go. And obviously we have to make ourselves feel safe, but I think in hindsight I was kind of regretful that I just wasn't feeling happy or joyful with my family. That was hard. And B, that I didn't really feel like I found a way to connect with everyone. Because it's not like you need to be there and I need to be happy. I need to show up and be happy, because that can't be inauthentic to what I was going through. But I think I could have found a way to connect with them and to be with them authentically, of course, but just find a way to connect with them. And so I started thinking about that and reflecting on that and how I saw myself really pushing people away because I was in pain. And I was kind of blaming myself a lot for it at first, and then I kind of took a couple steps back and I'm like, why? I consider myself a pretty intellectual and reflective person. So why did that happen? Like, why? Is it really just me? Am I like just this isolating person that runs away in a family situation? Like, I think it's deeper than that. And I thought about this one moment we had when we were all sitting at the table and everyone was answering questions. We have a really fun tradition where we answer questions around the table. And my sister answered a really vulnerable question, and she got pretty emotional, and everyone really connected with her and really provided her a lot of support. And I thought it was beautiful, but I was pretty hesitant to read my question off because I knew my question led me into talking about how I missed my partner. And I think I ended up kind of affirming that fear, because when I read mine off, people kind of, the table kind of turned into a joke. Not like they were making fun of me, but it was turned into this lighthearted thing. And I reflected on that moment, and I was like, and generalized it a little bit. I think that, and it kind of goes off my last episode, is that I've always been portrayed and carried myself as a very strong and independent person, independent girl and woman. And that's been affirmed through my decisions and my actions and my demeanor. And I think because of that, I required and expected a lot less emotional support. And I don't think anyone intended not to give me support, but I think that I became this strong person that didn't need it. And I think we all try to put people in boxes, especially our family members, because there's this like ongoing thing in everyone's head. It's like, oh, I've known this person forever. I've known them for so long. This is just who they are. And you keep looking for ways to make you think that you know everyone in your family really well. But it's like, if we only get together on the holidays once a year, and that's really the main time of communication we have, how well do you really know those people? And so I feel like this is a vulnerable time being together in family, because there's so many, I feel like everyone shows up with this person they're supposed to be, and everyone around them is trying to affirm that, because it's like, oh, well, I've known this person since they were born, this is who they are, this is what, like, that, well, I can just place this next character trait and action into their little box of who they are. And I don't think anyone does it intentionally, but it just happens. And I realized when I reflected back on that, I'm like, I think that, yeah, I felt like I was pushing people away, but I think it was also because I felt like people were around me were also thought that I was really strong, and it maybe would panic them to know that I was really hurting at that table, and even when I kind of said it like this, I'm pretty sad. I wish that he would come home. It wasn't, I don't think people knew that it was serious, you know? Like, not that serious, like life serious, but serious, like, I would have really appreciated a couple people saying, like, I've been through the same thing. How do you feel? I'm here for you. We love you. You know, and I just didn't receive that. And I think that's because of this persona that I have both created on my own and been affirmed by everyone else. And I think everyone comes to the table with that type of identity in a family environment. It's really important to reflect on and sort of anticipate that person that everyone thinks you are in your family, and understand and sort of just be aware of what you need authentically when you're going into those environments, because everyone's so different all the time. So to pretend like Cece's just gonna go to Thanksgiving and be really strong all the time, like, that's pretty unrealistic. So I think just really being present with where you're at when you go into a family environment, and knowing what you need with where you're at. And maybe you're not going through a lot, and that's okay. But just, especially if you are going through something that makes it hard to be really present with family, to really reflect on that and connect with others. And you kind of have to be, I think you have to be a little bit upfront, and I don't want to say abrasive, but sort of upfront about what you need emotionally, if you think that will help you better connect with your relatives. Because I think that if you don't do that, depending on your sort of the box that you've been put on, you may feel really isolated, because people, if you're going through something and you don't feel like anyone takes you seriously because of your persona that you walk into the room with, it can feel really isolating. It could take you out of the present moment with them. It can take sort of that gratitude away from you being with them, because you don't feel necessarily emotionally safe, and you want to just like retreat or whatever you do when you don't feel like people understand you or hear you or see you for who you are. So it's tricky. I always come back to what we can control, but I also want to sort of analyze the greater scheme, because I don't think it's fair for me to sit here and be like, it's all my fault and I should have done this and this and this. Like, I think it's a two-way street. I think there's some affirmation going on there, because people want to feel like they know you, and they know you in the sense that they've been there, but to really be present with people's lives and how much they're changing, it's pretty hard, you know? It's pretty hard. Like, you only have a handful of people in our life that you really know who they are, how they're changing, what they're going through, and you kind of choose those people. With family, it's sort of like those gatherings should be a time to sort of catch up with those things, but I feel like sometimes they result to a time to not necessarily judge, but it doesn't seem like it ends up being catching up. It seems like it ends up being like everyone acts like there's no time has passed, nothing has happened, and it's like, or maybe because you don't have the conversation of what has happened, you just do normal activities and everyone thinks that everyone's the same person they were last year. And it's like, no, they're not. And I mean, everyone falls into it. We're traditions, family traditions, all these things, like, they don't necessarily revolve around what have you been doing the last year, how have you changed. Like, those conversations are like sort of seem intangible, but I think that going forward, I really want to be present and reflect before I go into a family environment, and really understand like what feelings may come up, and how can I be present with my family and connect with them through those feelings. Because at this point, I feel like I'm pretty confident of the feelings that may come up this next holiday, and I want to know that I can connect with family members that I haven't seen in a little bit, in an authentic place of where I am, and not sort of this strong, confident person. Like, and maybe I am strong and confident that day. and that's fine. But maybe I am not. And so it's a two-way street, because it's scary. It's going to be scary for me to show up not like that, and to show up a little bit, maybe a little melancholy, maybe needing, someone to vent to. It's going to be vulnerable to do that, and it's going to be hard. But I know that the feeling I feel when I don't feel heard, seen, or listened to is way worse than the vulnerability that I feel when I'm connecting with someone. So it's sort of a challenge for everyone. And I kind of went in a lot of different directions in this conversation, but I think it really boils down to just reflecting on, what you're feeling, what you're going through before going into a family environment, and understanding that a lot of families put different people in boxes, and we go through these holidays thinking we've seen everyone at every stage and we've been talking to them this whole time, but we haven't been. And that's not bad. It's just how a lot of families are. Everyone's going to be around. You're always going to be in each other's life. But you don't necessarily know how everyone's changing. And so I think another part of it is going to this family gatherings being really curious about how people have changed, and just being curious. And I think that can be an opportunity to connect with people on how you've grown and what you need in the moment. But if that doesn't happen, then I think just really reflecting on what you need and what you're going through when you go into those environments, and figuring out a way to channel it into connection so you can stay present with your family. So that's kind of my 2 cents from the whole experience. I'm really proud of myself for understanding that. I wish that I could have understood it earlier, but it's a learning curve. I haven't ever been in a serious relationship where we couldn't be together on the holidays. And it was an unexpected thing, because I didn't really know we weren't going to be able to be together until a couple months ago. So I had planned it in my head. And so there was a lot of feelings that I just didn't anticipate. But I think I know it a little better now, and I think I found a good way ahead to really channel my pain and emotional triggers into connection, into advocacy, into art, and into an opportunity to be closer to the people that have watched me grow up, or I've grown up alongside. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I hope you guys have a great holiday. I hope that you really grow in love and faith with your friends and your family, and you find a way to connect and to be curious about people, because all these people are changing all the time, and you know them their whole life, but everyone is changing every day and going through stuff, and it's such an opportunity to learn and not to affirm, so just take that chance to be open and to look at everyone as a new person with a whole year's worth of experience that they've been through, and an opportunity to connect. So I hope you guys have a great holiday. I probably said that like 6 times now, but I will talk to you later, and